G&D Integrated was started in the late 1800s as basically a transportation provider, horse and buggy days, and it has progressed through that 5 generations of ownership within the same family. And it's continued to our current CEO and owner of the company, who had taken it from a transportation company, from O'Neill Brothers Trucking, to a logistics company now known as G&D Integrated. So we moved from just a transportation provider to a provider of warehouses, or warehousing, assembly, distribution, kitting, sequencing, all of the above. We've done all of that, and then that actually progressed into a manufacturing division for our customers. So the company really grew on starting a relationship with transportation, building on that relationship with the customer, and then really saying yes to just about everything that the customer ultimately wanted. Did you want to can you warehouse something for me? Sure, we'll do that. Can you actually build this part for me that you're assembling? Absolutely, we can do that. And that's kind of the backstory of where the company came from. All testament to Joe. He's the one that took this from kind of a small town trucking outfit to what it is today, which is a lot. 450 trucks. We have about 10 different warehouses that we operate, and a manufacturing division that works for major OEMs and other companies as well. So our company consists of 3 divisions, and our competencies are in the transportation world. We offer truckload van services to our customers. That's I hate to say just van, actually. We offer truckload services in van freight, flatbed, and even into the tanker division. So we haul things with tankers through an acquisition that we've recently completed. The other divisions of our company is what we call our contract logistics division. This is your basic warehousing, your assembly, sub-assemblies, kitting, packaging, and other opportunities that we do out there. And then our third division is our manufacturing division, where we actually are a provider that will take raw materials and create a final part for our customers. Had a few growth milestones. We've made some acquisitions down the road. So we purchased, as I said earlier, our tanker division from a local trucking company. It's proved to be very beneficial. It's been a very profitable business, and we've taken it from a very small business into a much larger thing than we thought it would have been. Now it's still small in scope of the rest of our transportation business, but we are growing that, and we continue to do that. So that was a great milestone. As of January 1st, we also purchased another transportation company in Columbia, South Carolina. That company adds quite a bit of value to us in the Southeast. So that expands our opportunity to serve customers further north than what our current existing our footprint is in the Southeast. And it added about 80 new trucks to our portfolio, drivers, and a freight brokerage department that we really want to take advantage of. And I guess the final piece of that is even our manufacturing division, which, as I said, historically was more of a specific to a single customer. We had some difficulties in keeping tolerances in the quality of our product because our equipment was very old. And the milestone for our manufacturing division is we did a complete reinvestment. You had to make that decision: do you get out of the business, or do you make the investment and go big or go home at that point? So we decided to go big, and we reinvested in modern equipment. We're able to hold tolerances. We've got a very, very high quality level with our customers, and we're really trying to grow that business at this point. But to purchase all of that new equipment, to centralize all of our manufacturing division in one location, which is actually here in Morton, rather than have it at multiple different facilities throughout the region, has really kind of been a huge milestone for that piece of our business. What differentiates us on the transportation side? It's service. And I think that you could talk to 10 different transportation companies. They're all going to tell you they got the best service. It's a bit of a sales pitch at the end of the day, but from my experience working in transportation throughout my career, both on the shipper side, the 3PL side, and now on the carrier side of the business, I can tell you that there is a difference here. We take on business that we know we can achieve because we're not a company that's going to go out there, buy ourselves into business, and then not perform. If we're going to go in there, a lot of the times we'll only get one shot. We'll get a very small sliver of the business to prove ourselves. And if you prove yourself, you make more, you gain more business out of that customer. That's really how we built our transportation business. So really differentiator, and you're not going to hear it from another company that it makes us any different, but when we say our service counts, and it really does put us a step above everybody else in our competition bracket, I think. From a contract logistics standpoint, it's really the willingness to kind of do whatever it takes. I think that we don't just pigeonhole ourselves into one particular service offering or product. We're willing to do what our customers need us to do. We have an in-house IT department. We can build customized systems and reporting and everything else for our customers. We can develop new things that they can use on their own websites if they need to. But I think that really does differentiate us. And then from a manufacturing department, right now, as we're continuing to build this thing, with our reinvestment in the business and our experience level from an operations standpoint, we are poised to grow, and we have capacity now. So before, when we had older machines that didn't have the efficiencies and throughputs that we needed, we now have capacity. And in the manufacturing world, that's a pretty rare thing. Most people have their capacity locked up. Because we've reinvested, now we have a whole bunch of new capacity that we can fill and grow our business and serve our customers. I feel like data speaks volumes. And whether that be in any one of our divisions, if you can provide us the data that kind of tells us the story, I think what we do very well is we analyze that data and can put together a valuable solution for our customers. If you don't have data, we can still come to that. It takes a little bit longer, but I think that the more technologically advanced companies get, the reality is that data is somewhere. And if you're going to come to a service provider, again, whether it's transportation, logistics, or manufacturing, the more data you can bring up front helps expedite that solution. And I think that would be my advice to customers, is the more data you can bring right off the bat, the more detail, your wish list, your want list, that helps us put together a solution quicker, and that will actually answer your needs. So that way you spend less time after the fact sorting through issues. You get them up front, you tackle it, and you come out guns blazing. The reality is you can serve that customer better. You can get through all the noise and just get to a better resolution and quicker service offering than you would previously. And I think that's something that we do well here. So for most of our new endeavors and our new customers, we have a fully staffed onboarding team. And there's a lot of questions, and sometimes it's tedious. And our customers are like, why you have to ask all these questions? Why do I have to have the answers? It's really so we can avoid kind of missteps through the onboarding process. If we get them all out up front, we're going to figure out how to address them. So we just hit the ground running when the business takes off. We had a customer who had an overseas customer base, and we were doing distribution for that customer. And at the end of the day, the end user, the end customer, our customer's customer, continually was coming back with claims in the 40 to 50% range. I didn't get these parts. I didn't get all of these. You didn't ship them. You did something wrong. And from our perspective, that then falls on our performance, and then our customers don't necessarily want to go with an underperforming company. But at the same point, we were pretty confident that we were doing this well, and we were making it happen just as we were told to by our customer. So what we did is, rather than have a back and forth and a continuous pointing of fingers between their customer, us, and our ultimate customer right in the middle of that, we took the initiative to develop a software program to itemize by part level, layer level in a box, pallet level. We created this software and this program to document that through pictures. Every piece that went into the package. Here's the start of it in the empty box. Here's the bolts. You ordered 10 of them. Here they are. They're on level 1 quadrant here. And then that would track that all the way to the complete order on the box, to even getting on the truck, where another picture is taken to say this is now physically on the truck. You've seen this box be built through picture evidence, and then put on the truck and then delivered to you. And our claims ratio went down to just next to nothing. It's like a fraction of a percentage. So that is it's just a really good example of a project that, we didn't have to do that, but ultimately we know that we have to serve our customer, they have their customers, and there was dispute. And one of the advantages of working with a company of our size is we're nimble. We have the teams in place, we can do this. It's not a huge approval process to go all the way up the ladder of a multi-million or billion-dollar company. We're small enough that we can be nimble and we can meet our customer needs, and we can throw out these suggestions that prove to be a huge value for the customer base at the end of the day. So again, small enough that we can do that. We're large enough that we have the resources we can do that, and so we kind of fit in this really good spot in the middle. But I think that's a great example of a project that ended up proving a huge value to our customer. And not to point fingers back and say, no, you're wrong at the end customer point of view. We were able to say, Mr. Customer, we've solved this problem for you. And that's a huge administrative savings and efficiency for our customer at the end of the day. I think that's a crucial point. We like to solve problems for our customers, and I think that otherwise that's just, you're just like any other provider if you're just going to do the business. And it goes back to your differentiator question. We want to be the guy that's fixing that so we can develop a long-term relationship with our customer base. Central Illinois is our corporate headquarters here in Morton, Illinois, and the majority of our warehousing business and even our transportation business is central to the Illinois market, Midwest specifically. We do also have some transportation terminals in, as I said, our new acquisition in Columbia, South Carolina. We have one in Charleston, South Carolina near the port, and we have one in Savannah, Georgia. I also have a warehouse in Griffin, Georgia. So we're really tied to the Midwest. If you take a transportation basis and take a 500-mile radius around Peoria, Illinois, and we service customers in there. That's the majority of our fleet, probably 65, maybe 70% of our fleet. But then our transportation fleet also operates in the Southeast. What our goal and our strategy is to connect those dots eventually. I may have mentioned, but transportation's an easy lead-in. It's quick. It's quicker to execute. You can actually have a conversation, agree on rates, and be running trucks, in less than a week if you really wanted to. A warehousing operation is not that easy. A fabrication and manufacturing division is not that easy. You've got to go through PPAPs and approvals and everything else. But we are, from a strategic standpoint, we want to mimic the areas we're already in with transportation. So if I'm there, I can sell services to them in that same area and kind of grow organically from our transportation customer base. So if I had to think future state for G&D, we have this, southeastern division, and we have our main hub of existence here in the central Midwest. You got to connect those dots. So there's a lot of reasons for that from a transportation perspective about relaying freight, keeping drivers happy, keeping them from leaving and that type of stuff. But strategically, those are the regions that we're looking at. So Southeast, Midwest, and then trying to fill in those gaps in between, whether that be transportation, logistics, or even a manufacturing department. We operate as a kind of small town company. There's no secrets. Our employees are allowed to knock on Joe Neal's door, and our CEO will talk to them. That's a huge advantage from a employee morale standpoint, right? We also have people that really kind of care about what they do. If you're in a larger city, in a larger metropolitan area, your choices are numerous. You can go work just about everywhere. There's, instead of, like the Peoria area where there's 20 manufacturing companies, there's hundreds in the Chicagoland or major metropolitan areas. Same thing with trucking and warehousing. So I think what you get is you get a little bit better, employee loyalty, which then translates to service for your customers, and then customer loyalty that comes out of that. Production of any kind, really, because of our multitude of offerings, I think that anybody that's going to bring either a need for manufacturing, a need for distribution, warehousing, or transportation, being a little bit on our side of the game, truckload transportation, I think that's certainly what would complement our business in the Peoria area. Is if we could get more companies to come set up shop here and produce a product that then needs supply chain, or that we would benefit from that and they would benefit from that. What would I say to a company considering Peoria is really about geographic location. We have the advantage of being kind of the crossroads of the Midwest. I know St. Louis has taken that, and the Gateway Arch is the gateway to the West. But if you think about it, Peoria and the Peoria area, we have the north and south and east and west major interstates that run through the country. And so we've got I-74, it runs east and west, we can get anywhere, and we've got 55 that runs north and south. We don't have to run through the complexities of a huge metropolitan area, the traffic and everything else that you have to deal with, especially in the logistics world. That costs money. We can get in and out of the area and deliver your products elsewhere without having our problems at the origin. So I don't think people in the metropolitan areas have that. You've got at the front end congestion, and then at your delivery, if it's in a metropolitan area, congestion. You eliminate one of those. So I think that it's true geographically. The Peoria area is primed for manufacturing. The other thing is infrastructure. A lot of people don't think about it, but we also have the river. So you have the opportunity to run barge traffic. We have a federally recognized airport where we can do international shipments out of the airport. And then, like I said, you've got companies like myself or like G&D that offer transportation services. So you really can cover the whole gambit of the region. I forgot to mention rail. I mean, we're within 2 hours of the railheads in Chicago. Down in Decatur, there is a new rail ramp down in Decatur. So moving in or moving out international shipments via rail and sea containers is a huge advantage of the area. So I would say that people considering coming to Peoria, the infrastructure and geographic efficiencies that come with that are here, and it's pretty unique because you don't have that everywhere else. We have the luxury of being deemed, essential. That's the new term that we use due to COVID. Supply chain is essential. If you need groceries, if you need products, if you need services, then you got to go buy it from a store. A lot of people don't realize that you get nothing without a trucking company, right? The truck delivers everything ultimately. I think that because of that, and the diversity of our service offerings, because we are considered essential in one area, that leads into us being essential across the board, which means we can still provide services to our manufacturing customers, to our logistics and warehousing customers as well. And I think that's really kind of been an eye-opener for us, is that if we continue to run through situations here where we have these new issues coming up and closures, the fact that we are still essential as a whole and as a company, that all of our divisions become essential and we can continue to provide the product, the services, and the transportation to get things done. I'm from Tremont, so the Turkey Festival was our big thing. Ultimately, what that boils down to, whether it's Pumpkin Festival, Turkey Festival, Cherry Festival, Marigold Festival, Steamboat Days, all of the above, right, is that I think the regional gem is it's kind of small town life. Even in Peoria, which is it's a larger city in the state, the surrounding communities kind of offer that entire small town world. I think, as I alluded to earlier, I think that leads to people that are going to work harder. They're proud of what they do. They're not going to continually jump to other jobs, and that's going to lead to a better product for our customers at the end of the day. But I think the regional gem is really small town life. It's small town mentality, and I like that. I know it's not for everybody, but that really kind of makes it work for us here. Now, there's other things out there, and proximity to some of the wonders of Illinois, such as Starved Rock and other things that you can do about here. The history is actually amazing in the area that a lot of people don't know about. But certainly, I think it all boils down to we're an area and a region that's somewhat insulated from all of the woes of the world today. We are who we are. We kind of operate on a different wavelength, and